Hello, hi, welcome to another Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction Longlist video. I appreciate that the shortlist has now been released. I haven't checked it, although by the time I upload this video, I would have done. I'm filming this before my predictions and reaction video, just because I finished the 11th book, which is A Sign of Her Own by Sarah Marsh. So yeah, I don't know whether this has made it yet or not, but by the time I upload it, I will have found out. Anyway, this is all about A Sign of Her Own. I know I said I was going to do this with my reaction and prediction video, but you know, I've done a single video for each of the other long listers, so it felt a bit unfair not to do it for this, and I'll do the same for The Land in Winter as well. Whether it's made the shortlist or not, I'll still read it and I'll still do a video. I think it's only fair. But this video is all about A Sign of Her Own by Sarah Marsh. I loved it. It was really good. It's got so much depth and layer to it. And so if you saw on my channel, I did just a short post on Monday when I found out they were going to release the shortlist on the Tuesday yesterday. I thought I'd put a couple of quick posts up just to give my initial what I would pick as a shortlist, but also what I think the shortlist might be. And if you saw the post, you'll see that this wasn't on my personal top 6, but it was in what I predicted could make the shortlist. However, on Monday when I did that post, I was only about 2/3 of the way through. I now probably would put this in my top 6. I haven't filmed that video yet, even though when this is uploaded, I would have done. So A Sign of Her Own follows the character Ellen Lark. She's purely fictional, but she is the student of Alexander Graham Bell, guy who invented the telephone. And that storyline runs through the book loosely as sort of a template for Ellen's storyline. And the story flips between Ellen's present, being still Victorian England, and also a couple of years before that when she was a student in America. And what I like about the chapters, so with her past student days, the chapters are given in what's called visible speech, which you learn about in the book. And in her present days, it's done that you get the title of the chapter and then you get a figure of a person doing sign language for the title of that chapter. And that's quite prevalent with the meaning of the book. So in her past student days, Alexander Graham Bell is teaching her visible speech, how to speak. Even though she's completely deaf, he believes that deaf people only have a real chance in the world if they're among the hearing, if they're in the hearing world. And to do that, not only must they be able to lip read, but they need to be able to speak. So Ellen is learning this visible speech, which Alexander Graham Bell's father, I believe he invented it, and then obviously Mr. Bell, as he's called in the book, is teaching other students, not just Ellen, but other students as well. And then we have Ellen's present day. It can't be more than a few years later, but she's now living in England. She is betrothed to be married to Harmon, and she's discovering herself. You know, she's been told that being among the deaf community is not going to be the best for her. She's not going to have many chances in life. And when she was at these schools, not just with Mr. Bell, but before that, she was at a school for deaf children. They were kind of told sign language is a no-no, you can't do it, even though in secret they were doing it. And this story really is about Ellen's discovery, her self-discovery of, you know what, you know, these people have been trying to silence us, their voice. And even though it's not an actual audible voice, it's their way of interpreting the world and putting themselves in the world. And it's such a really in-depth, well thought out, well executed story. It obviously really helps that I read that the author grew up deaf when they were a child. And you can tell the level of care that's gone into the writing. So anyone else maybe writing about a deaf character, you know, they might get some bits right, others not so maybe detailed, but this is so detailed down to, you know, their feelings when they're among hearing people and they're trying to lip read and they're not quite understanding, they're having to guess the feelings that they have with that, the feelings in general about the world, you know, growing up deaf in a hearing world. And it's so well executed, and I really love the story. It's not my favourite out of all the books I've read on the long list. You know, I much prefer something a bit quirky and unique like Mother Naked or Glorious Exploits, but this is up there. I really enjoyed this. I do think it should make the shortlist, and I probably will put it in my own top 6 probably now. But yeah, it's just, as I said, the minute details, even down to the different chapters. As I say, we flip between Ellen's present and her past. And the only thing with the book, it doesn't detail years or dates, so we're not sure how much further along is her present to the past when she was a student. But she still sounds relatively young, so it can't be more than a few years, I doubt. But yeah, as I said, even the front cover, you know, when you read about, you know, Ellen herself, her surname Lark, and what her sort of nickname in sign language was, it's all just well thought out. I just really enjoyed it. It's just got some nice language, a really interesting story, and what I love about the story. So when it's flitting between the 2 stages in Ellen's life, you get tidbits of information and you're not quite sure what's happening, and bit by bit it builds. And it really sort of, to me, reflected how maybe a deaf person would feel among hearing people. They're getting little bits of information, not getting the full picture, and they're having to build up a story by different clues that they're picking up as they go along. And that's how I felt reading the book, in such a good way though. It really worked with the story, and I really liked the ending as well. Maybe not the happiest ending for Ellen, but still quite a triumphant ending, I feel. She didn't maybe get what she wanted, what she could have had in her past days when she was a student, but yeah, it's still a triumphant ending for the character. I really enjoyed her character, well written. I like the secrecy behind a character called Frank as well, as that grew along. A little bit of information, as I said, we were getting about him until very at the end, it was all sort of revealed what was happening. Yeah, I really recommend, to be honest, that of all the books, you know, I say I enjoy Mother Naked and Glorious Excellence because they're quirky, but this for me is around the more fuller reading experience, in terms of it's got lovely language, it's got a really interesting, in-depth, well thought out story. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I keep saying the same thing, but yeah, that I just really enjoyed. So that's my thoughts on A Sign of Her Own. By now, I would have already uploaded my prediction reaction video. So next up, I am going to finish The Land in Winter, whether it's on the shortlist or not, because I think it's only fair. It's the last out of the 12 books that I have to read from the long list. That's my thoughts on A Sign of Her Own. Have you read it? What do you think? Until next time, thanks for watching.